You ever stop and think that maybe a simple plant is secretly running your world? Well, today we are peeling back the husk on an incredible story of science, civilization, and some serious hidden power.
I mean, really think about that for a second. What if a single plant has woven itself into the fabric of your life so completely that you don't even see it anymore?
It's in the fuel that gets your car down the road, it's in some of the plastics you use, it's in medicine, and yeah, it's even in the meat you eat. That plant, it's maize, or as you and I probably call it, corn.
Okay, so our first stop here is probably one of the most mind-blowing facts about this plant. It's basically a human invention, a crop that, in the wild, just shouldn't exist.
That's right. Unlike, say, wheat or rice, which could totally reseed themselves, maize just can't. Without us, it's a complete genetic dead end. You know, if a corn cob falls on the ground, all those kernels are trapped inside the husk. They can't get out, so they just rot in a big clump. It is 100% dependent on a human hand to peel back that husk and plant the seeds.
And check this out. This slide is the perfect before and after picture. On the left, that's its wild ancestor, a grass called teosynth. Look at it. It's got just a few tiny rock-hard seeds. And then on the right, you've got modern maize. The journey from that scrawny little grass to this massive, juicy cob is honestly one of the most incredible stories of partnership on the planet.
And this quote just nails it. We're talking thousands of years ago. Ancient Mesoamerican farmers were basically the world's first genetic engineers. They didn't have labs, they didn't have any modern tech, they just patiently and selectively bred teosynth generation after generation, guiding its evolution to create the corn we know today. It's just, wow. But see, for these ancient peoples, maize wasn't just some clever invention. No, it was the very center of their universe. It was a sacred grain that literally defined who they were.
This line from the Mayan sacred text, the Popol Vuh, it tells you everything. The connection was so deep. They didn't just eat maize, they believed they were made from maize. It was the stuff that gave them life, that gave them consciousness.
And it wasn't just the Maya. The Aztecs had this same reverence. They worshipped a specific maize god. Their whole sense of time, their calendars, their biggest rituals, it was all built around the life cycle of this one single plant.
But here's the thing. Their knowledge wasn't just spiritual, it was deeply scientific. They developed this brilliant process called nixtamalization. By soaking the kernels in alkaline water, think water with a little wood ash, they triggered a chemical reaction that unlocked crucial nutrients. This literally saved them from deadly diseases and let their civilizations boom on a corn-based diet. It was a chemical breakthrough that modern science didn't even figure out for centuries.
So that ancient scientific genius unlocked maize's potential to feed empires. But that very same chemical versatility is exactly why today it's exploded way beyond the dinner plate. Let's dig into how this sacred grain became the invisible ingredient in pretty much everything. Just picture your last trip to the grocery store. It's estimated that over a quarter, 1 out of every 4 products on those shelves, has some form of maize in it. That number is just staggering when you really let it sink in.
And here's why it's so easy to miss. Take a look at this chart. See that tiny little slice? That's the corn we actually eat. You know, corn on the cob, popcorn, that kind of stuff. The vast majority, it's being transformed into completely different things. Feed for animals, ethanol fuel for our cars, and a ton of industrial products.
So where is all this industrial maize hiding? Well, for starters, it's been chemically re-engineered into the high-fructose corn syrup that sweetens most of the sodas in the world.
Go check your bathroom. You see cornstarch or sorbitol on the ingredient list of your toothpaste or makeup? Yep, that's maize. It's used as a thickener or a binder.
It's even being turned into the building blocks for a more sustainable future. Things like the biodegradable plastics you might get with your takeout food.
And here is the big one. That steak you love, that chicken sandwich. In a way, what you're really eating is processed maize. It is the fuel for the entire industrial meat system.
So how on earth did one plant get this powerful? How did it achieve total global domination?
Well, the secret is baked right into its DNA. See, maize has this genetic superpower. It's incredibly diverse. Unlike a lot of other crops, pretty much no 2 maize plants are exactly the same. And that built-in variety is what let it adapt and thrive almost everywhere, from sea-level coastlines to high mountain valleys, in blistering tropical heat, and in cooler temperate zones all across the globe. But this unbelievable success story has brought maize to a kinda tricky modern crossroads. It's now at the very center of some huge debates about our food, our planet, and our future. So, on one side, you have supporters of genetically modified maize. They argue it gives us higher yields and better pest resistance, which, is a big deal for feeding the whole planet. But then, on the other side, you've got critics raising some really important questions about the ecological impact, about corporate control of our seeds, and about the long-term effects of tinkering with the genetics of such a fundamental crop. And then there's the challenge of monocropping. That's when you plant these enormous fields of nothing but corn year after year. It can really wear out the soil, stripping it of nutrients and making farmers way more dependent on chemical fertilizers just to keep things growing.
But the story doesn't end there on a down note, not at all. Scientists are now using that same incredible adaptability to solve future problems. They're developing drought-resistant types to fight climate change, creating even better bioplastics, and even exploring if maize can help pull carbon right out of the atmosphere.
Which really brings us back around to our final question. We took this plant from a wild grass and turned it into a global powerhouse. We shaped it like no other plant in history. But when you look at how deeply it's woven into our lives, our economy, our technology, our very bodies, you really have to ask, have we mastered maize, or has maize quietly mastered us?